Welcome to the Explainer. So today, we're going back to the absolute fundamentals of tech. If you've ever had to, teach someone how to use a PC, or maybe you just want a really solid refresher on the precise step-by-step logic of how a machine actually boots up and powers down, well, you're in the exact right place. Think of me as your study buddy for this session. We're going to tackle Chapter 4 of this Computer Fundamentals textbook, reading through the mechanics line by line to really lock in that core vocabulary. And then, the best part, we're going to put our knowledge to the test by solving the textbook exercises together at the end. Okay, let's dive into this.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. Number 1, starting your computer. 2, exploring desktop components. 3, how to shut down. 4, solving multiple choice questions. 5, answering chapter questions. And finally, number 6, solving application puzzles.
Starting with Section 1, starting your computer. So, page 30 of our textbook starts with a totally critical reminder. Before we even touch a single button, we have to make sure the keyboard, the mouse, and the monitor are actually plugged into the computer. And hey, notice that little call-out box labeled Wow Facts on the right side of the page? It tells us that starting the computer system is also called booting the system. That is a fantastic piece of vocabulary to keep in your back pocket. The textbook actually lays out a very specific 4-step sequence for booting up, and it moves methodically from the wall straight to your screen. Step 1, switch on the main power supply button on your wall. Step 2, switch on the UPS, which helps regulate that power. Step 3, switch on the button of the CPU, the actual brain of your computer. And step 4, switch on the monitor button. Once you do that final step, the book notes that you'll be greeted by the welcome screen of Windows. It's basically this awesome chain reaction of power.
Moving right along to Section 2, Exploring Desktop Components. Looking at page 31, this spatially orients us to the digital environment. Once that computer is fully switched on, you get this very first display screen, universally known as the desktop. The textbook provides a really great visual diagram here, pointing out the distinct areas of the interface, all the way from the tiny pictures on the left to that long bar resting at the bottom. Now, what's really interesting about this is how clear our digital workspace definitions are. The desktop is our starting point. Sitting right there on that desktop are icons. These are the small graphic designs representing different programs. An absolutely crucial icon is this PC, which displays the files stored on the computer and the number of drives you have. And of course, we have the recycle bin, which safely stores all the files or folders that have been deleted, essentially acting as the computer's digital dustbin.
Flipping over to the next vertical page, page 32, we introduce the remaining core vocabulary words you need to navigate this environment. This page is really all about how we organize our work and how we keep track of what we're currently doing. Let's look closely at the difference between a file and a folder, because the textbook contrasts them perfectly here. A file is an individual document in which data is stored. Think of it like a single piece of paper. A folder, on the other hand, is a place where we can store different files together. So that's more like a manila envelope that holds multiple papers inside it. You can give custom names to both your files and your folders to keep everything beautifully organized. And down at the very bottom of your screen sits the taskbar. The textbook defines it as the long bar located at the bottom of the desktop screen that shows which program we're working on. So if you have Paint and MS Word open, both are going to be pinned right down there. Nestled on this taskbar is the Start button. It's used to start programs, open documents, and importantly, it's the exact same button we use to turn the whole system off. Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, How to Shut Down. And this brilliantly illustrates that shutting down is absolutely not just yanking the plug out of the wall. It is a methodical, software-driven process. Page 33 shows a great visual cascade of the menus that actually pop up when you initiate a proper shutdown.
Here is the exact step-by-step procedure outlined in the text. Step 1. Click the Start button. Step 2. Select the Power option from that menu. Step 3. A submenu appears and you click the Shutdown option. Once the system digitally shuts itself down, we basically reverse our hardware steps. Step 4. Switch off the monitor. Step 5. Switch off the UPS. And finally, Step 6. Switch off the main power supply button. It's a completely safe, orderly unwinding of the boot process.
All right, moving into Section 4, solving multiple choice questions.
Okay, study buddies, it's practice time. Page 34 challenges us to recall the definitions and sequences we literally just went over. So I'm going to pose a couple of the textbook's questions directly to you right now. Think back to our desktop components. Question 1. What is the first screen of Windows called? And let's look at question 3. Where do all the deleted files go? I'll give you a brief second. Do you have your answers locked in? Let's reveal the answers for this whole multiple choice block. For number 1, the first screen is, for sure, B, the desktop. For number 2, a small picture of a program is C, an icon. For number 3, those deleted files go straight to D, the recycle bin. For number 4, the button you click first to start shutting down is C, the Start button. And finally, number 5, the long bar at the bottom is A, the taskbar. If you got all those right, you are doing absolutely fantastic. Let's move to Section 5 and see how this builds. Answering chapter questions. The book gives us a really fun word bank to work with. Desktop, icon, recycle bin, taskbar, and start. Matching them up to the clues here. The first screen that appears is the desktop. A small picture representing a program is an icon. Deleted files are moved to the recycle bin. The Start button is used to open any program. And the long bar at the bottom is the taskbar. The book also has this quick true-false section. For example, it says, to start a computer, you should switch on the CPU before the main power. Now we know from our sequence that is absolutely false. Main power always comes first. Looking at page 35, this grounds us for the last matching exercise and introduces some really cool real-world scenario questions based on what we've been learning today.
Let's quickly connect the definitions in this Match the Columns table. 1. Small picture matches with D, icon. 2. First screen matches perfectly with E, desktop. 3. Stores files pairs right up with B, folder. 4. Computer's dustbin is such a great metaphor for C, recycle bin. And 5. Bar at the bottom is, of course, A, taskbar.
And finally, Section 6, Solving Application Puzzles.
Let's look at the second application question on page 35. It says, Jutton used to shut down his computer system by directly switching off the main power button. Oh no! Can you tell him the proper way? So the absolutely crucial point here is that Jutton is skipping the software shutdown entirely, which can lead to some major data loss. We need to remind him of the correct sequence. 1. Click the Start button. 2. Select Power, then Shut down. Only then do you move to the hardware side of things. 3. Switch off the monitor. 4. Switch off the UPS. And finally, 5. Switch off the main power button. Jutton really needs to follow the steps, guys.
We did it! We successfully read the chapter and solved every single puzzle. You have officially mastered starting and stopping a computer system according to the foundational rules. So, I want to leave you with a quick challenge. Take your eyes off the center of the explainer for just a second and look at the actual screen you are watching this on right now. Can you spot your own taskbar? Can you find your own start button? Explore your own interface with total confidence. Thanks for studying with me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.